you've achieved some pretty remarkable things that I want to talk about on the show today. And I mean, you're kiting on a complete different level compared to us weekend warriors, but I think there's some lessons, that we can learn from you. And I'd love to talk about that today, because a lot of my students, they struggle with training consistently. They struggle with a bit of fear of learning a trick, or they give up very easily. They try a trick 1-2 times and then they give up. And then as a result, they get stuck with the progress. So we want to talk about all these things today. But first of all, I want to ask you a question. Sometimes I sit in the office, I have a boring office job, and I think, man, these kite pros, they must have an awesome life. Like, what does a typical day look like in your life?
Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely know that we're lucky to do what we do. Basically, we're just doing whatever we want to do that has any benefit for our kite surfing career. So in the morning, we'll go for a gym session or something like that and get some proper nutrition in. And then if it's windy, get some kiting in. And the whole day is pretty much based around kiting and sports.
So you just made me feel even more sad now when I sit in the office, think about your life. You must have also given up quite a bit, sacrifice a lot to get there. Like, what were some of the sacrifices in your journey?
Well, at some point I said I want to try and do this. All the money I saved, I said this will last me about a year. I'll travel to all the spots. I'll try to train as much as I can, and hopefully a sponsor picks me up before I run out of money. Yeah. And a sponsor picked me up like 2 weeks before I'd run out of money. So. Just risk it for the biscuit, let's say.
Nice. I think, a big part of it is that financial part of getting in, becoming a kite pro. In that year where you traveled to all the spots, how did you live?
I had a van that I built into a camper van, and I slept in the van and tried to live for about 10 euros a day. That was kind of the goal. So yeah, it was definitely not as luxurious as some might think. I was trying to save as much costs.
Nice, yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, different levels, but I've kited for 20 years. And for me, the Boardoff was always a trick I wanted to learn, but it was just too hard. And then I same as you, I just like one day I decided like, I'm going to do this, whatever it takes. And I started training at home and I made it happen. It sounds like you too, like you just made a decision. I want to become a kite pro, and it worked out. And that's really awesome to hear, man. If you could go back in time to that Giel who just started that journey of becoming a kite pro, what kind of advice would you give him?
That's a good one. Probably, I wouldn't say it's not as hard as it looks, but I would say let someone who does something incredible, someone else who does something incredible, let it inspire you and let it never drag you down. Because if you use it as inspiration, it's fuel. And if it drags you down, then it just creates a negative.
You said just now that you should see it as an inspiration. Was that not always like that?
In one way, yes. Because we're all pretty much friends here. But in the other way, I remember seeing Yannick do some tricks when I was in the middle of the training thing. And I was thinking, what am I doing here? Like, I'll never get there. And I think he was just doing a boogie with the adder rotation. But it was so much control and so much style that I thought, like, it's so hard for me and it looks so easy for him. Like, this makes no sense. So yeah, I definitely had moments where I thought, like, shit, what am I doing? Or is this making sense? But you just go one step at a time and then you end up in a pretty cool spot.
Let's talk about tricks, actually, because a lot of people, I coach them and then I let them go. They do their own thing and I observe them. They don't know a look. And then I see like they try 2-3 times and then they give up, like what's your approach when you learn a new trick?
I mean, I feel like I'm not as talented as a lot of the guys. So I'm pretty used to having to crash a trick 50 to 100 times before I land it. So yeah, it's just, if you keep crashing exactly the same way, something needs to change, because then something is going wrong all the time and it's all the time the same. But if you're not landing it, but every time you feel like you're getting a bit closer, it's pretty good. It's not only about, if you crash, you got to get back up. You check how you crash, what happened. And if you constantly make the same mistake, it doesn't make sense to keep pushing, because that's not the point. There's one mistake that you keep making. And if you don't change that, then you will keep crashing. So you just make a new plan, try something else, and then you go for it.
And is there a safer way to crash?
Yeah, you always want to make sure that the kite gets back to 12 and then focus on how you're going to crash. So until the kite is in the right spot, you don't worry about your body, because the biggest crashes are the ones where the kite's completely out of line, out of position.
Yeah. And do you take a step-by-step approach when you learn a new trick? I mean, I guess with these new double loops, it's kind of like you just got to go, or triple loops. Huh? There's no step-by-step process.
No, I mean, there is a step because I didn't go for a double before I could go for a single. So you do take steps. I definitely do take steps. I was a teacher for a long time, an instructor. So everything you do has a certain build up to it. Some riders, I think they don't go step by step. But for me, it helps me to make sure I don't just do the trick, but master it.
So you said you were an instructor for a long time. What's your advice to people who want to progress? Especially, we're talking board-offs at the moment. Like if someone can jump right now, they can maybe do kite loops. Like what should they be doing next?
I mean, that's what we just spoke about, is the fact that if you're trying something or you're doing something and you keep making the same mistake, is because you need a hand with something. You need to change something. Yeah. So you either need coaching or you need someone to tell you, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Because otherwise you get stuck somewhere because you keep making the same little mistake. And sometimes it's really easy to fix, but it's very hard to feel. And for someone else, it's very easy to see.
Interesting. And a lot of us weekend warriors, we don't get out as much as we would like, but we can train at home for the Boardoff. Like in your eyes now, with all the knowledge that you have, how could we best prepare to learn the Boardoff if you can't kite a lot? Like what kind of training, muscle groups should we train?
There's definitely steps you can take to mastering the Boardoff. I think you'll be able to show very well with your program. And in the end, it's just doing a lot. So if you're only trying a Boardoff when you're in the air, then you get very little practice. But when you're sitting on the corner of your couch and you're just practicing the Boardoff without having the kite in the air, at least you get repetition of the move. It's like when you want to do a flip, you don't just start going and flip in the air. If you really want to learn quick, you go to the garden, you stand above something that like a beanbag or whatever, and you just flip the board. You flip the board and you just practice on land in order to have a perfect build up towards doing it in the air.
And in terms of the muscle groups, like in your eyes, you're into this training. What kind of muscle groups do you think are important to train to learn your first Boardoff?
I think for learning Boardoffs, to pull your legs up, it's a lot of abs and core stability. So you definitely want to make sure that your core stability is good and it's strong. In theory, you could hang on a bar and pull your legs up, and that's like the perfect way to train it, because you don't want to go grab the board. You want to bring the board to you in a position where you can just take it off easily. I think that's maybe the biggest mistake that I see with people in the clinics or people that I teach, is that they're trying to go grab it instead of just bringing the board up so close that you can just take it off easily. So there's definitely ways to do that. My training is also based on everything around it. The crashes we take can be quite intense, creating a bit of a natural impact vest. And I just love to work out and to be active and to feel strong.
How do you balance training, like kiting? You said sometimes you go for a kite in the morning and then you train in the afternoon, or vice versa. Like, are you not overdoing it? Don't your muscle groups need a certain amount
absolutely. But it's different. So when you're training weights, it's a different kind of activity and it's different kind of muscle work than when you're kiting. Especially, so if I'm kiting in 50, 60 knots for 6 hours, I don't really go to the gym because I'm dead. So there's no energy in me and my muscles will need a break. But if I'm doing 2 sessions of an hour in a day, then I absolutely have time to go to the gym. So it always sounds a bit cliche, but the most important part is to listen to your body. And if your body says, hey, I got something left, just go for it. But if it says you can go, but I'm broken, then it's nothing like, oh, I'm so disciplined or motivated. Then you're just not listening to your body, and then you definitely overdo it.
Talking about discipline, through this Boardoff program that I've done, I've had already a round of testers go through. And what I realized that at the beginning, a lot of them are super excited. And then as I follow up, they lost consistency and they admitted, like, it's like, I'm just struggling with consistency. Like, and I sit there thinking, damn, it's such a shame, because like if you would only go through the program, you would build the strength and the muscle memory and all of it. And the ones that have gone through, four that have gone through, 3 have landed the Boardoffs. And I just think, man, if I could only motivate the people more to train consistently, what's your advice around that to help people train more consistent?
It's more about people knowing for sure that that's what they want. Because if you really want something, then you'll do it and you'll put in the work. But if you think you want to learn a Boardoff, it's different as when you say, I can't sleep at night because I can't do a board off, right? So if it's important and if it's important to you, then there's no excuse. Then the
Yeah.
work should be put in because nothing, you know, nothing you do in life goes without a bit of effort. So then it's, I mean, if you feel like you're not putting in the work and you don't know why, then it's probably because you don't think it's important enough.
That's a very valid point. Reflecting on my own journey, 20 years of not being able to do the board off. I had it like, I need to learn this. I'm getting older. I want to do this. And then I
Yeah.
did it. Yeah. That is
But
exactly
that's
like
it. I
when,
mean, I think, like you said, the weekend warrior can't kite always. And then when you're kiting, maybe you're thinking, I don't want to crash all the time. Now it's finally like nice wind. I just want to enjoy it a bit as well. And maybe just do some jumps and just enjoy being out. And then you're not pushing it anymore. Whereas if you really want to do it, you're like, I don't care if I have a beautiful session. If I'm not training this, then I'll feel bad for the rest of the week. So if you really want to learn a board off, you got to put in the work.
yeah, 100% agree. How do you keep yourself motivated? Do you have days where you don't feel like training and going to the gym or even going kiting?
I mean, there's definitely days where you're less motivated than other days because that's just some days you can't wait to hit the gym or hit the water. For kiting, I feel like I always have motivation. For the gym, I wouldn't say I always do, but you feel your body's rested and you know that you can put some work in and you go to the gym because it's it's part of the lifestyle. And I think what we've changed in the last 10, 15 years is that kiteboarding has become more for athletes and not just adrenaline junkies, let's say. So right now, with all the tricks you have to do, and you have to be fit, and you see that the guys that are at the top every time, they're all working out, they're all fit, and that's why they have so much control over their body as well.
How do you keep up your training if you're traveling? Like you're always, that must be quite hard too, yeah? When you check into new hotel, new places, go to competitions, can you keep up your routine?
I mean, it's nice if you're in a space for a long time because it's, here in Tarifa, I love to be here because I have a really nice routine. And yeah, if you travel a lot, it can get difficult. I went from Cape Town, where you also have a really good routine, to Dahab in Morocco, and there's nothing going on and there was no gym. So I was filling up kite bags with sand trying to do a workout like that. And then it takes a lot more motivation and discipline to get to your workout. But yeah, it's if I can't work out for a week, if I can't find weights for a week or 2 weeks, it's not like it's the end of the world, You find other things to do. I just need to be active. If I play paddle instead of doing weights, I'm still happy. I just want to do,
Nice.
I just want to be active. Just do
Nice.
sports.
Which supplements do you take for your training and why?
I take creatine every morning because creatine is an energy source that even if you're not doing physical work, it's still a mental boost. And it's a product that a lot of research is coming out like more and more and more that it works against dementia and that people who are 60, 70 should be taking it every day. And the effect is just the clearest of all the supplements. So this is something I take every day. Then a whey protein, because I want to make sure I eat enough protein so my body can recover in time and I can kite 6 hours a day. And if I really want to gym, then I will not be completely exerted the day after. So I take a whey supplement, so either concentrate or isolate or the clear whey. And on the water, it's easy to dehydrate. I think like I saw a stat the other day that 80% of the people is always dehydrated, because once your pee turns a little yellow, officially you're dehydrated. And electrolytes really help you to hold on to the liquids. And I mean, you know how it is. If you're kiting, you're not hungry, you're not thirsty, you're not tired, you're not anything.
You're just stoked.
Good. Leave me alone. I'm having a great time. The moment you get off the water, you're everything at the same time. You need to eat while taking a piss.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a big help, I would say, to making sure that you have enough liquid in your body. And then I personally don't take all the vitamins and stuff, which probably would be great if I did. But I would say that those three are my most popular. Those are the ones that I use every day.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know if a lot of people know, but you are co-owner of Viking Nutrition. Hey, what's the vision behind that?
Yeah, so it's Tom Gevers and me, and we are both kiters. Tom also works in the fight sports industry, so he's a teacher slash coach slash hero for all the Krav Maga people in Holland, let's say. And I do the kiting part. And what we want to achieve together is a supplement that is the purest form that we can find, but not tasting like it. because when you get like really pure supplements, usually they taste like earth. So we want to
Okay.
have like a really good quality, but really good taste. And we're trying to bring that to the outdoor category, let's say. So it's not necessarily you have to be in the gym every day. That's not really the target group we're going for. It's more like adventurers, kite surfers, skiers, climbers, outdoor people.
I want to talk about the last thing is a little bit about your mindset with injuries. You just had an injury as well now,
Yeah.
MCL, I think,
Yeah.
tear. You mentioned in the post that it was incredibly difficult when you saw that big swell rolling in with the wind. I
Yeah.
mean, people who've had injuries, it's such a struggle, especially when the conditions are good. You just want to go out. And I usually do go out and then I regret because then you're in more pain. Like, what's your philosophy and mindset around injuries and how do you manage that?
I feel like I'm very positive with injuries. I mean, usually when it happens, for about 2 hours, I'm a bit cross and a bit upset and annoyed, probably all of it at the same time. And then there's just a point pretty quick where I'm like, okay, well, I have what I have. Nothing's going to change that. So let's start working and looking ahead from this point. So only after maybe a day, 2 days, sometimes weeks, you know exactly what's going on. And then you just do it again. If there is really bad news, okay, that sucks. I'm allowed to feel shit. All right. Now we've had that. Let's move that out of the way. What can I do? What are the next steps? And if that is doing nothing, then that's a step. Or that is resting, then that's a step. So I like to keep my mind occupied. Joining Viking or actually doing this, happened when I injured my ankle the first time. And I looked through opportunities that I didn't give a proper chance before because I was just too focused on kiting, training. Now I'm super happy that I did that because it put me in a position where I am today, and I'm super happy to be here. So definitely keep your mind occupied and just only look at the positives. Pretty much it.
My physio told me once, if you're stuck in a forest, the only thing you can do is put one foot in front of the other to get out. So it sounds exactly the approach that you're taking. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, I want to wrap this up with a last question.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for this coming year?
I'm gonna be doing a lot of projects with Capital, with one of my sponsors. And this is what I'm most excited about because I'm going to be seeing more of the world, hopefully showing all the kiters around like a bit more about what makes kiting so incredible because it's the freedom that makes it, in my eyes, the freedom is what makes it absolutely insane and the feeling you get when you're on the water with your mates or with family or whatever. So I'm definitely looking to create some memories that no one will ever be able to, or I will never be able to forget. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome, man. So if people want to follow you, what is the best platform to follow your journey?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Instagram and on YouTube. I will be starting to post monthly videos on YouTube as well.
Oh.
Right now, I haven't done much with YouTube, so it's not a big platform yet. But Instagram is the biggest one, and then YouTube will be the other platform.
Just your name, or how do they find you?
Yeah, YouTube is Giel Vlugt, and Instagram is pretty much it's the same.
I can't pronounce your surname. Sorry.
That's okay. Nobody can. Sometimes I think I can.
Hey man, it's been epic to get to know your story. Yeah, you have a really positive mindset, and also what you've shared around. You've just made a decision, you stuck to a plan, and it worked out for you being a kite pro. That is so cool, man. Yeah, I really appreciate the tips that you have given us today. I think even us weekend warriors, we can learn something around training consistently, or yeah, I've learned a few things about creatine that I didn't know and protein, so that I don't have a sore abs anymore when kiting. And for everyone who wants to learn the Boardoff, go and check out kitesurfaaron.com. We've got a 28-day Boardoff challenge going on right now there as well. And yeah, wishing you best of luck, Giel, and especially speedy recovery with your MCL knee, and that you can do the projects that you want to with Capital this year, and yeah, give us some awesome content to watch.
Epic. Very cool,
man.
Will do.
Thank you.